45 laps at the Sonoma Raceway, about to get underway. Noah Belleville comes back for another win and maybe one more chance at a Thursday Night Thunder Championship. Nick Pressey to his right-hand side, coming around the hairpin. Just under 90 miles of racing. 15 cars registered, 14 cars starting. We're missing Donald Ray from this grid formation, but we'll make do without the pride of Rockwall, Texas. Pressey and Belleville side by side, ready to get it started. What a jump by the 94, but he can't beat the 41 to the line, and he won't. Green flag underway at Sonoma. And in one lap of competition, the gap from first to second, 1.5 seconds. Noah Belleville, Toby Estes running 1-2. These are the points coming into this race. Jacob Prince leads by 14 markers over Toby Estes, who runs second in the race and falls off the racetrack. The Budweiser Chevrolet just trying to stay, I guess, in the shadow of Noah Belleville, which is going to be difficult enough considering just how well-versed this guy is at Sonoma. It really is uncanny the way that Belleville just takes to road courses. Although Estes is holding on. Belleville running fourth in points. He sits 13 markers, it looks like, behind Justin Shoup. Shoup running right now in 11th spot, the pride of Bealton, Virginia, behind John Honeybrink in the 2-0. Let's go on board with the NVIDIA Chevrolet. Jacob Prince goes purple, the points leader, trying to march towards the front. He sits in the 5th position, starting in the 6th spot. 1:18.37. Nick Pressey, 1:20.17. Almost 2 seconds, the gap between them. Seth Wansing sitting in 3rd, right now just on the nose of the pilot from Brooklyn, on board with the 9. The Brooklyn pilot sits 4 seconds ahead of the points leader. And there is Prince just climbing over the last 5 laps, and we haven't quite had 5 laps yet. So over the last 3 laps there, you see the difference that Prince has been putting on, although that last lap, Nick Pressey half a second quicker than Jacob Prince. So maybe not entirely consistent, but we'll see what the points leader can do. Consistency ends up being what the numbers look like here. Noah Belleville goes purple, now in 1:17s. So not consistent laps for Jacob Prince, but definitely consistent finishes. Of all his TNT finishes, he has an average finish of 3rd with an average start of 7th. 4 wins to his name, and Greenwood, South Carolina's Jacob Prince. Trying to add a 5th. Trying to clinch that TNT championship as early as possible. Noah Belleville might put a big dent in those plans, as might Toby Estes. These guys kind of running in lockstep, and I was unfair to Toby Estes earlier. I was saying Noah Belleville was just blasting away with the lead, but this Bluegrass Bandit is holding on to the back of that 41. Let's go on board with Toby. You heard the tires squealing on the 8 car. He saw the 41 just hit the curb, and he tried to chase him down a little bit. Is Noah Belleville potentially sandbagging? Is he just keeping Toby right there on a very short leash? He could be trying to save the tires. He could be trying to save fuel. Belleville was telling us earlier in practice that saving fuel could be the key to making this race on one stop. It's going to have to be about 2 laps per stint. And maybe Estes is on the same strategy. I'm not sure, but they're only 0.8 of a second apart earlier on lap 3. Richie Catania had an incident. This is what happened to the 2-4. On the inside of Justin Shoup in the 91. Richie in the 2-4 make a little bit of contact. There goes Orange County's Ryan Pennell right into that 2-4 as well, and Justin Shoup went for a spill. Let's have another look from the sky. So who's got the line here? You see the 2-4 breaks early. Does Richie overcook it into the corner? I don't know if he's clear. It looks like Richie, you can see he locks up the brakes at the last second. Have one more look there. Keep your eye on that right front tire on that 2-4. He's going to lock up the brakes here. Yeah, he just locks it up at the last second. It looks like Richie wanted that inside line. Justin potentially wanted the inside line as well. And Ryan Pennell just wanted to get away from them, and he puts Catania into the air. Toby Estes, 0.8 of a second behind the race leader. Seth Wansing still in 3rd. Brooklyn's Nick Pressey in 4th, and Jacob Prince has finally caught on to the back of the 94. John Honeybrink fell off the race course. This is what happened to the 2-0. Look how loose he got right in front of Tom Sears. Check this out again. Oh, I think Honeybrink just might have lost control of the power. Let's see if we can ride on board just a little closer with Honeybrink and have a listen there. It just sounds like the race car got the best of him. On the downhill slope, it looks like just possibly the weight just shifted in a way he didn't expect, and Honeybrink went off the racetrack. Tristan Catania on lap number 5 also fell off the course. Here he is in the bad braking Chevrolet. Lap number 6, Justin Shoup took an extracurricular line, but he keeps it moving. No harm, no foul. Richie Catania went right off behind him. Tommy Withers had an incident. This is on lap 5. Too much throttle. Out of turn number 4, he spins it in the opposite direction, gives it gas, and gives it a pretty smoke show coming out of turn 4. John Honeybrink going into the hairpin. John, what are you doing? My God. So Honeybrake, he keeps it off the wall, but I think he might have been looking at his track map rather than looking at the hairpin. On board again. Have a listen. Most recently, Richie Catania here on lap number 7 in the Nicorette machine. You can see he's already got a dent on the backside of that race car. What happened to Richie? Oh, it just really got out of his control under braking. Richie gives it a spin himself. Back up into the top 5. Nick Pressey overtaken by Jacob Prince. Have a look at this pass. You see Prince keeps it under control. The wheels don't lock. Double 9 gets ahead of the 94. That's for the 4th position, Seth Wansing. Fewer than 2 seconds ahead of that double 9. This is the comparison over the last 5 laps. Seth Wansing, Jacob Prince, Nick Pressey, and I don't know if the tires are starting to fall away on that 9 car, but the double 9 is coming this last time around on lap number 6. Half a second. No, I'm sorry, half a tenth. Excuse me, I can't count. So half a tenth the gap that time. So possibly just Pressey trying to slow up Prince's advance a little bit. Nine laps underway at the Sonoma Raceway. Jacob Prince with a mirror full of Nick Pressey. Kansas City, Seth Wansing in that number 9. He gets away from the curb cleanly. Nick Pressey from Brooklyn almost smacks it. This is the battle for 6th. Season 4 champion Thomas Andrews and Briley Wright from the Bluegrass State with no front end on that 2-9 racing for 6th. I couldn't imagine what in the world happened to Briley Wright where he's lost the front end of his race car. The Nicorette machine went off track again. Have another look. This time by himself. Turn number 4. It's going to get more drivers tonight as well. How about Briley Wright going for that 6th spot? Look at him just trying to get an inch or two further into Thomas Andrews. But he just can't push that extra distance. But who knows? Maybe with no front end, he's trying to save the car or what remains of it. I choked that one up. 35 laps to go next time by. It is a good battle for 6th, though. Let's go on board with Tom. Well, let's not go on board with Thomas Andrews. Richie Catania had another spin. This is 5 seconds ago. The Central Floridian. We were praising him because, yes, good. Richie. Oh, you got to be kidding me, Richie. Turn 4. Didn't I tell you? Tom Sears decides he wants to be Top Gun and take to the skies. The number 14. RaceArcs.com Supra now battling Briley Wright. This is for the 7th spot. Wright's going to take it super wide. Tom Sears is going to get to his inside, and that's 7th for the Western Mass Mechanical Contractors. RaceArcs.com Toyota Supra. It says Best Friends Animal Society on the corner of that car. Okay, so he likes animals too. Gotta love it. Actually, as a matter of fact, I know he loves animals. He has a dog named Talladega. If that tells you everything you need to know about this 2-time Thursday Night Thunder champion. Miss Moneypenny's in the house as well. Shout out Miss Moneypenny. Cheering on for Noah Belleville. Belleville with a 0.3 of a second lead on Toby Estes. This is not what I expected tonight, but as I've said before, and I'll say it again, been wrong before, and I'll be wrong again. Nick Pressey had a spin on lap 10. No, not necessarily a spin, just I think pulling a John Honeybrink in the hairpin. So the Brooklyn pilot still in the 5th spot, and the gap between the top 5 and the rest of the pack is just sensational here. From Nick Pressey to Thomas Andrews, there's a 13-second gap. from Nick Pressey to Noah Belleville is a 17-second gap. So shout out to everybody in the top 5. And then you've got these two here, Belleville and Estes, who are, so it's 17 seconds from 1st to 5th. It's 13 seconds from 1st to 3rd. Jacob Prince trying to catch up here to Seth Wansing. This is the battle for 3rd. Wansing in the bronze medal spot. Sometimes it's fun to let the images speak for themselves. Noah Belleville with a 1/4 of a second lead on Toby Estes. The distance between Noah Belleville and Toby Estes is the closest battle for position on track right now. Look at Estes just trying to hop those curbs and, again, get closer to Noah Belleville. The Drip Diecast and Collectibles Track Facts tell you, as Noah Belleville has a blink, as is tradition at this point now, right? 45 laps makes up the 89 miles in tonight's 11th out of 16 rounds in this competition. Expect drivers to come down sometime between laps 25 and 30, but even then we're being a little bit generous. And Toby Estes wants to be generous with himself when it comes to first place. Car number 8, new leader at Sonoma. You know what's not new? Richie Catania going for a spin. The 2-4 just had another incident. Oh, and what do you know? It's turn number 4? No, it's turn... Okay, all right. Richie has me wrong. This time he's crashed in a different corner. In the exact same fashion. Thank you, Richie. Toby Estes decided he just wants to run away with the lead before pit stops, I guess. He's already 3/4 of a second ahead of Noah Belleville. 9/10 the gap going into turn number 4, and that's Orange County's Ryan Pennell up ahead in the Mac Tonight machine. Let's go on board with the 1-2. Give it up to Ryan Pennell. Brilliant strategy in the 1-2. The car's already damaged. Presumably he's going to use his one fast repair when he gets into the pits. But he's staying on the racetrack. He's still in 12th. We look at drivers like Richie Catania. Don't get me wrong. Richie, love him. Great guy. But he spun the car like 4 times today. Richie's sitting in that 14th position. Ryan Pennell has not spun the car as much. Car number 12, despite having more damage than car 2-4, is 2 positions ahead. The results right now speaking for themselves, and when Ryan Pennell comes into this race, 5th in the points standings, and he's running 12th, this is the best strategy for him at the moment. It's damage control, and it is working. Shout out driver of the 1-2, making it work for him. At the front, Toby Estes, 1 second ahead of Noah Belleville, and that's the largest gap we've seen for first place in an incredibly long time tonight. Jacob Prince running in third. He is 16 seconds behind the top two. Justin Shoup running in 11th and trying to chase down Tommy Withers in the number 6. Valvoline Ford. And there's the gap here over the last 5 laps. Tommy Withers not as quick as Tristan Catania. That last lap, Justin Shoup looks like he might have had an issue there. There was an incident here on lap 13. Let's see what happened. This is the 2-4 of Richie Catania. Briley right behind him. And Richie just goes off the racetrack, and he gets back on there. Okay, no harm, no foul. This is Justin Shoup on the same lap. This is going into the hairpin. Gives it a spin, but he keeps it off those barriers, and they're not as soft as tires. They will mess your race car up. Ryan Pennell also on lap 13. Oh, this is him getting out of the way for the leaders. Shout out Pennell. And then Seth Wansing here on lap number 14. What happened to the DuPont Chevy? This is behind Jacob Prince. Oh, Wansing crunches it. I was just saying, they are not soft. And the number 9 car is going to have some repairs to make. This is Richie. Turn 7 for the 2-4 car. Seth Wansing went off the racetrack. Is it possibly due to the damage? How's the car turning? Oh, he overcooked it. Burnt it to a crisp. Wansing now off-roading in the number 9. Thinks he's playing Dirt Rally 2.0. And Wansing finally comes into those pits. There is car number 9, and now he's out of the pits. So gets the race car repaired, and clearly a fast repair at work for the pride of Kansas City. He sneaks just ahead of Richie Catania. 17 laps underway, and Seth cannot go the distance on fuel. This will be a 2-stop race for Seth Wansing, and we'll have to see just how far drivers can make it on fuel. There's race leader Toby Estes looking to put Seth a lap down. Richie Catania with an incident. No, he's doing good. He just went a little wide on the racetrack. Shout out Richie. He's getting better. 6/10 the gap for the lead. Toby Estes ahead of Noah Belleville. Richie's younger brother Tristan decides he's going to inherit the family trait. So the 4-8 falls off the racetrack. He sits in 9th. Tommy Withers now behind him with a fast approaching Justin Shoup on board with the 6. You hear how ginger and how light Tommy Withers is on the throttle in that number 6. Let's see if we can get one more sound of another driver going through. Well, this is Tristan Catania. Have a listen with Catania at Tristan's throttle rhythm in the 4-8. You see a bit sharper there, a little less controlled in that 4-8. Listen on the acceleration out of 7. A lot more careful. Now, have a listen with the 8. Have a listen at the acceleration out of the corner. Still a bit sharp, but you can hear there's just a much more smooth exchange between on and off the throttle. Have a listen to the 4.8. That time Tristan pretty smooth going into that first corner, but definitely coming out. There's Tristan again giving it a big slide there. Tommy Withers 1 1/3 seconds ahead of him. Justin Shoup with an incident on lap 16. Wide again on the hairpin. Oh, and this time he gives it a spin out of the hairpin. Car 91. In that 12th position, Orange County's Ryan Pinnell is now in 11th. 19 laps underway. And again, Pinnell's strategy, driving a bit slower. Listen to the throttle rhythm for the 1-2. Pinnell keeping the race car on the race track. Justin Shoup quickly approaching, and it looks like he's going to take over for the 11th position, but Ryan Pinnell slowly creeping up through the running order just by keeping his car on the racing surface. I'm really interested to see how this is going to work out for him in the coming laps and then definitely after the pit stop sequence here. Toby Estes, 0.7 of a second ahead of Noah Belleville. Jacob Prince, 19 seconds adrift. And over the last 5 laps, Prince, that last time, 1 second slower than Noah Belleville. And to no discredit of Jacob Prince, he's got 4 wins this season. He's leading the points. He's doing exceedingly well with an average finish of 3rd. But coming into tonight's race, Noah Belleville and Toby Estes are just dominant. And Toby Estes, who comes into this race 14 points behind Jacob Prince, this is his opportunity to make his run for the Thursday Night Thunder Championship. 6 races remain in this season, including this one. 5 races to go after the checkered flag tonight, and next week we're at the volatile Chicagoland Speedway. This points battle is only going to get tighter. New leader, car 41, Noah Belleville stretches his lead to half a second over the Bluegrass Bandit Toby Estes in that number 8. Briley Wright, well, I was going to switch to Briley Wright, but Toby Estes isn't done playing with the 41. He says, come back here. I want that first place. Seth Wansing, 1 lap off the pace in the 8th position, but Wansing is on the freshest tires so far. Lap number 15 is when Seth pitted. So he's got 5 laps into this one, and last time around, the pride of Kansas City running 120.66. Toby Estes, 121.15, and he wants a spot back on top. Estes says, come on back. And Noah Belleville is going to have to fight for the lead, and he's going to have to fight to stay off of that curb coming out of turn number 4. On board with car 41. Pit stops for the leaders here on lap 21. They won't make it to the end on fuel. They have to save in this second stint. Noah Belleville, Toby Estes, both coming on down. Jacob Prince, will he also come on back into the pits, or will he? No, he will come on back into the pits. So Jacob Prince, he's going to take some time. for tires and fuel. Nick Pressey will do the same. How about Tom Sears? He's got a knack for saving fuel. He's not going to save anything. He's going to come on down into the pits as well. Season 4 champion Thomas Andrews. Let's go on board with him. Thomas Andrews may not make his decision about pits by the time Belleville... No, he won't. Noah Belleville is out of pit lane. 6th place, Thomas Andrews now decides he's going to come into the pits. Briley Wright's going to come into the pits. Seth Wansing pitted on lap 15. He is in 8th. 7th just came down for tires and fuel, and he's going to have to use that fast repair on that fast break 2.9. See what he can get out of that. Wansing in 8th. Noah Belleville in 1st with fresh tires and a full tank on lap 22. It's 23 laps to go. Belleville might have just positioned himself beautifully for this. He's got a 4-second gap on Toby Estes. Talk about attacking pit lane. Noah Belleville passing Toby Estes. This is on lap 21, right before they come on down into the pits. Belleville attacks pit lane, gets the lead, runs away, and Darrell Waltrip mentioned this some years ago on a NASCAR broadcast, and it's true. Using what Darrell Waltrip called Michael Schumacher's technique for pitting in Formula One, where the in-lap and the out-lap of your pit have to be your fastest laps. Belleville getting around Toby Estes, giving it everything he's got for one more lap before coming into the pits, giving it everything he's got now on his first lap out of the pits. Those tires are definitely worn by now, and he's got a 3.8-second gap back to Greensburg, Kentucky's Toby Estes, the Budweiser Camo Chevrolet. 20 seconds ahead of Jacob Prince. Virginia's Justin Shoup just went green, 122.03. Tommy Withers ahead of him. Withers has not pitted, neither has Justin Shoup. All eyes now on the number 6. Is he stretching it out as far as possible? We'll find out sooner or later. If you just tuned in, you have not missed a thing. 21 laps to go next time by. Virginia's Tommy Withers will bring the Valvoline machine into the pits. Justin Shoup behind him. He just went green, 122.03. His fastest lap tonight. Is he going to back it up coming into the pits? Oh, with a big slide out of the S's, and the 91 does bring it down. Noah Belleville, purple, 1:17 flat. His qualifying time, 1:16.89, and you'd be silly to think Noah Belleville's not going to try to best that. Imagine he goes 1:16.88, better than his qualifying time in the race, which is absolutely possible considering the rubber that's being laid into the track. It's getting cooler. Toby Estes behind him, 3.8 seconds the gap. And now the closest battle here sits for 7th, and, well, not anymore it doesn't. Season 4 Thomas Andrews. Season 4 champion Thomas Andrews puts the TNT drip diecast machine right into the wall, and that's not a good look. Well, and I suppose this would be as good a time as any to remind you that if you love any of the paint schemes that you see, Ryan Pennell's also going to go off the racetrack. If you love that Ryan Pennell paint scheme or the Thomas Andrews paint scheme, it's a great time to go on to Drip Diecast and Collectibles on eBay and Facebook. Drip Diecast is your #1 store for all NASCAR and sports memorabilia in general. I thought it was just stock cars. I was dead wrong. Drip Diecast and Collectibles, your #1 online store for NASCAR and all sports memorabilia. Check them out on eBay and Facebook. Drip Diecast and Collectibles. Get a piece of NASCAR history now. So Thomas Andrews wrecks it with 20 laps to go. And he goes too far into his pit stall. So now Thomas Andrews is going to try and get the race car repaired. Richie Catania had an incident on lap 23. Coming out of the last corner, Richie is going to slide across the finish line in style, and he doesn't touch a thing. Justin Shoup just had an incident in the 91. Does he overcook it in the hairpin? Shoop overcooks it in the hairpin. Seth Wansing gets around him. Wansing runs in the 6th position. Thomas Andrews still getting that race car repaired. Wansing in the 9. He sits in 6th. 4 seconds to the two-time champion Thomas Sears in 5th. Once again, the points coming into tonight's 11th race of 16. Jacob Prince leading by 14 points over Toby Estes. And Prince trying to chase down Nick Pressey. Just 1 second the gap between them. And at the end of the last stint, Jacob Prince was in that 3rd position. So just 1 spot behind Toby Estes. Not a bad place to be, considering the 14-point gap going into the Chicagoland Speedway. Justin Shoop running in 3rd. He sits 13 points behind Noah Belleville, who is leading this race. Justin Shoop currently running in the 10th position. Ryan Pennell, who is 5th in points, running in 11th, but with a brand new shiny race car thanks to that fast repair. He's kept it on the road. He's doing beautifully well. Tommy Withers 6th in the points, 8th in the race. Seth Wansing running 7th in the points, 6th in this race. Belleville, Estes, Pressey, 41-8, 94, but only 1 second between Nick Pressey and Jake Prince. Let's go on board with the 94. And the pride of Greenwood, South Carolina, inches closer to the driver from Brooklyn, Nick Pressey, just ahead of Jacob Prince. 7/10 the gap between them. Seth Wansing has come back into the pits. Remember, he pitted on lap 15. He was never going to have enough fuel to finish the race, but in the event of a late race caution, as John Honeybrink goes off the racetrack, Seth Wansing is in that advantageous position. Back to the battle here for the 3rd position. Nick Pressey, Jacob Prince, 3rd and 4th through the S's now. That orange 94 leading the blue and gold Coors 99. Race leader Noah Belleville through the chute, heading into turn number 4 now. 6.5 seconds the gap between him and Toby Estes, who just gets around his Bluegrass Bandit friend, Briley Wright, the number 29 fast break machine, running 6th. Up 7 places from where he started, by the way, so kudos to Briley Wright. Started in 13th, up to the 6th spot. And Nick Pressey now on ultra defensive mode. He's got Jake Prince behind him. This is the fight for 3rd. Pressey still slotted in behind Prince, but they are inseparable after a 28th lap of racing. 16 to go at the Sonoma Raceway. Jake Prince in third, 33 seconds behind Toby Estes, who's in second, and he picked up a heap of damage on the left-hand side of his race car. And Noah Belleville in a world of his own, 6.8 seconds ahead heading into the hairpin. It's about to be 1-5 to go. And shout out to Ricardo Catania, who's had another incident in the 2-4 DuPont Chevy. Used a fast repair to get the race car looking shiny, brand new, and beautiful. And he's going to celebrate his shiny, brand new, beautiful race car by throwing up some smoke in turn number 4. Younger brother Tristan also wants to throw up some dust. It says remember the name on the top of that race car, but I think you're going to remember it for the wrong reasons. Noah Belleville now expands his gap to 7 seconds. Seth Wansing just went green, 1:18.07, his personal best. Belleville in the 41. Catching a little bit of air with the right side tires. Nick Pressey still on Jacob Prince's tail. Is Pressey saving fuel, though? You saw him give it a little bit of a tail slide. And Pressey, maybe he's got something left in the bag. Maybe he's trying to save the fuel. Both Pressey and Prince pitted on lap 22, so they've got the same distance to complete. They've got to save about 3 laps of fuel to get to the end. Is Pressey just trying to maximize every drop, staying behind Prince when he can? He doesn't need to worry about the driver behind him. Tom Sears is 19 seconds behind Nick Pressey. Pressey can save fuel for the next 13 laps, and he'd still, by all accounts, safely be in 4th. Jacob Prince needs to save those 3 laps of fuel, but has he done enough? Lucky number 13 laps to go this time by Prince in 3rd, Pressey in 4th. Nick Pressey really sending it in deep into the hairpin. Jacob Prince survives. Pressey needs to be cool, calm, and collected. He does not need to push the issue and just try and stay on the tail of the points leader. Remember, an average finish of 3rd coming into this race, so it makes sense that Jacob Prince rolls in the 3rd position and Nick Pressey just making it easier for the double nine by falling off the line in turn number 1, and Jake Prince now expands that 3rd place gap to 0.8 of a second. Tristan Catania throwing up all sorts of alerts for falling off the racetrack 1,000 times. But hey, he's still cooking. Let him cook. Well, no, never mind. He literally just spun the race car as I said that. The curse of the commentator. My God, he's carrying an absurd amount of speed. Let's go on board with Tristan. He's carrying crazy speed into turn 1. So Catania, he's still running in 9th, and looks like Richie had a spin, and just staying out of the way in the hairpin. So shout out Richie Catania, the older of the two, the Central Floridian, running 13th. Younger brother Tristan running 9th. Nick Pressey running in 4th, still only half a second behind Jacob Prince. They're trying to hold on. And there goes Richie Catania for another spin. I've said his name more times tonight than all season in TNT. But give him his credit. One stat you can never take away from Richie Catania. He is the very first Thursday Night Thunder winner. Back when we were racing on the Xbox, I think we were racing NASCAR Heat 4. And Richie drove his 2-4 to victory lane. I'm pretty sure he was driving the 2-4 that night. And Richie Catania goes for another spin. It's okay, Richie. It's only 11 more laps to go. Tom Sears trying to chase down Nick Pressey, but it's a 21-second gap at this point. Jacob Prince trying to expand to over 9/10 ahead of Nick Pressey. Still tight battles all around this racetrack. And the points just get closer as the laps wind down. Noah Belleville, he's not close to anybody. It's a 7-second gap between him and second place Toby Estes. Thomas Andrews gets around Richie Catania for the 13th position. And Richie's just going to try to bring it home in one piece. Thomas Andrews says, I'm out of here. Ryan Pennell, 7 seconds ahead of John Honeybrink. There's the driver of the green and black NVIDIA Chevrolet. Prince still ahead. Let's go on board with the 99. A very controlled throttle rhythm for Jacob Prince. There's Nick Pressey in the 9-4. Seth Wansing went around on lap 33. He's in 7th. Turn 4 strikes again. I say turn 4. Why have I been saying turn 4 all night? It's really like turn 44. Who knows? I honestly don't know what the official count is. And it was honestly by really good fortune that we're racing this NASCAR circuit and not the infield, if you will, IndyCar circuit with a lot more corners. We realized before practice Wednesday night the track we had selected was not this layout of Sonoma. So shout out to Briley Bright in the 2-9. There's Briley. He's up 7 places from where he started. Shout out this guy right here who noticed that we were running the IndyCar circuit before practice Wednesday night. And it could have been a much, much different race tonight. So he's in 6th, up 7 places from where he started. Briley Bright making sure we run the right tracks this season. Monday Raceway. I have no idea what I'm doing anymore. Monday night, we're at Slinger Raceway. How about that? The super late models in ARCS Extreme. And then in a week, if I can manage to stop tripping over my words, we're going to have TNT Round 12 at Chicagoland Speedway. Tonight's points, track, facts, and upcoming events brought to you by Drip Diecast and Collectibles. If you love any of the paint schemes you see tonight, such as the 2-9, the 2-4. How about car number 2, Thomas Andrews? Head on over to Drip Diecast and Collectibles, your #1 online store for NASCAR and other memorabilia on eBay and Facebook. Drip Diecast and Collectibles. Jacob Prince, 1 second ahead of Nick Pressey. He's not safe by any means, but definitely Pressey hasn't looked like he can chase down the South Carolinian for the bronze medal spot. John Honeybrink recently slid off the racetrack. No harm, no foul. The 20 keeps it pushing. Prince trying to expand it to over 1 second. Has Prince saved enough fuel? 9 laps to go. Richie Catania is going to do some more donuts to entertain the iRacing fans at Sonoma. Toby Estes, 11 seconds now behind the leader. And Jacob Prince, right on the edge. Some more smoke. Is that Richie Catania? probably. 3/4 of a second the gap between Prince in the 99, Pressey in the 94. Seth Wansing 5 seconds behind Briley Wright, and all it takes is one mistake. We've seen these drivers spin tonight. We've seen them fly off the racetrack and do all sorts of shapes in these high horsepower race cars. We'll see just how far they can make it. Jake Prince. Taking it nice and easy is what it sounds like, but it's anything but. Richie decides he's going to come on down into the pits. Maybe try and put in a fastest lap or something. I have no idea. Noah Belleville getting around John Honeybrink, putting the number 203 laps down. 7 seconds ahead of that 2-0 is Ryan Pennell running in 11th. Justin Shoup looks like he briefly went wide on the racetrack, but the number 91 Coors is undamaged in the top 10. Tristan Catania, green, 121.11. He's getting better, doing his thing. Briley Wright just behind him, but that's not for position. Wright in 6th. Tristan will go, well, you know, you give him a compliment and he goes and throws it all away by smashing the race car into the wall, but we love him anyway. Tristan Catania, the New Jersey driver, running in the top 10 as well, 25 seconds ahead of Justin Shoup. Briley Wright running 7 seconds ahead now of Seth Wansing. 6th and 7th, the gap between them. And Jacob Prince with a pesky little Brooklyn shadow that just won't go away. Nick Pressey right under the shade of Prince's rear spoiler. 6 to go. Tristan Catania with an incident. Richie 2. See what happened to the 4.8. Oh, this is just Tristan going wide. We saw this one earlier. How about Richie? Coming into turn 7. I'm just going incredibly wide. And slides off the racetrack. Still keeps it moving, though. You have to admire the fighting spirit. He's running in 14th, but he's still in it. He's still just, you know, just hanging out and giving it his best effort. You absolutely love that fighting spirit. You can't say anything about it. You can't say that Richie does not at least try. The Coors cars, nose to tail. Jacob Prince in 3rd, Justin Shoup in 10th. Coming into this race, Prince leads. Shoup running in 3rd in the points. And we'll see how this affects his championship fight heading into Chicagoland. Shoup runs wide, leaves plenty of room for Prince and Pressey to do their thing. And 4/10 the gap. Now 3/10 going into the first corner, but Pressey looks like he just might have overcooked it. Nick can't get impatient. He's got to just ride behind the 99, force a mistake. Nick cannot force the issue this late in the race. It would be the end of his run for 3rd. Prince could play the role of the hare. If he wanted to go a bit faster, try to force Pressey to keep up with him. He could force a mistake out of Nick Pressey. Pressey needs to keep up with the 99, but not try so hard that he makes a mistake in these last 5 laps. It would be the end of his night. Well, no, it wouldn't, but it would be the end of the fight for 3rd. 6/10 the gap between them, and Pressey's strong point really looks to be the S's here. Let's take a look at the sectors. That time by Prince, 2/10 quicker than Nick Pressey. coming out of that final sector, but you saw Nick Pressey was quicker than Jake Prince there briefly. This time, Pressey 1/10 quicker than Jake Prince in that third sector. Jacob Prince slowly expanding that gap. Gets it out to 9/10 just as he crosses the line, but Nick Pressey closes it up right there. Coming into the slow corners, it almost looks like Pressey attacked the corners with more, guts going into the corner there, but coming out of the corners, it looks like Jacob Prince just has more confidence. He's got more guts, more bravado in the throttle. So it's a great battle between these two guys. I'm loving how this race is turning out. 2 laps to go this time by. Noah Belleville has a ridiculous lead over Toby Estes, who's got an even more ridiculouser lead over Jacob Prince. 41 seconds the gap. And let's illustrate that here. There's Toby Estes. Right there. Toby Estes is at the top of the hill in turns 3 and 4. Jacob Prince is now into the hairpin. There's Jacob Prince with Nick Pressey behind him. Prince runs really wide, but is he just trying to get a good run out of the corner? What happens here? Let's run it back. We saw Jacob Prince going into the hairpin. Just give it a big shake out of this corner. Oh, did he just get a little too excited on the throttle? Gives it a big shake into the hairpin, and Prince just trying to save it. Nick Pressey scoots on by, but it's only a half-second gap between them. Pressey has to get a move on. White flag next time by. Third place up for grabs. You can see Jacob Prince shaking the tail out. Who's going to send it in really deep on car 94. Last time we ran this race, Season 5. And the Season 5 champion, Aiden Norman, punts Noah Belleville coming out of the hairpin. Norman goes on to win the race. Belleville none too happy, but over the next 3 seasons, Aiden Norman would go on to be TNT champion in each season. And Noah Belleville, although almost as successful in win percentage, just running part-time in seasons 5, 6, and 7, Belleville said this would be his full-time season as he comes to the white flag. And we'll see just what he makes of it. Nick Pressey trying to go for another podium. He's got the points leader behind him, and the points leader closest rival running in second. Pressey needs some points too. Nick Pressey comes into this race 7th with 1 win. An average start of 4th, but an average finish of 7th, and Jake Prince with an average finish of 3rd. There goes Prince for the 3rd place spot. Pressey will have to try the undercut. He's got no chance coming out of that 7th turn. Jacob Prince to 3rd. Justin Shoup running wide. Here comes race leader Noah Belleville behind him. Grandma Jeannie said she's going to have to watch on YouTube later on her way home. And shout out to Miss Moneypenny as well. Shout out Grandma Jeannie. Better late than never. Love you, Grandma Jeannie. Thank you so much for coming on through. She's a big fan of Noah Belleville as well. 3/10 the gap there. Nick Pressy's got one more chance. He will collect the white flag, so he's got more than one full lap to try and get around Jacob Prince. Here is the race leader, Noah Belleville. Headed into the hairpin. He'll overtake the lapped car of Justin Shoup. Noah Belleville, fourth in those point standings. He'll gain a lot of numbers today. Out of that final corner, Belleville wins at Sonoma. Nick Pressey, half a second behind Jake Prince. Can Prince hold on, the number 94, trailing that Coors Chevrolet? Pressey within 4/10. It's now or never for Nick Pressey. One more turn to go. Pressey has to line up the hairpin just right. How's he going to get around the double nine? He's going to try the outside. Oh, he's trying it the hard way. Pressey really locks up the tires. He overcooks it in the final corner. Jacob Prince comes out of that hairpin with a big gap, and third place goes to the South Carolinian. And Noah Belleville has wrecked the race car. Here comes Tommy Withers to check up on him. So drivers are going to literally fly absolutely everywhere. And don't go anywhere, fans. We'll have top three in just a sec. On the podium now with our top three after they all decided to take flight after the checkered flag. But they kept it all in one piece for the first 45 laps, which is really all that matters. Let's be honest. JP, Jacob Prince with a third place finish, and you hold on to that points lead. 13 points now the gap heading into Chicagoland.
Yeah, accomplished my goal tonight. I'm definitely not a road course racer or enjoying by any means, but I mean, it was a fun track, but just kind of wanted to maintain the points lead, and I feel like I lost the minimum amount of points that I could. So, proud of that, and just glad to get a good result and get out of here with the points lead. Now we can get back to ovals and what I like to do and what I'm good at.
Chicagoland in a week. We'll see you there fighting for your fifth win. Congratulations on third. Bluegrass Bandit Toby Estes with a silver medal tonight. Toby, what did you need to get around the 41 for the win?
More fuel and a little bit more grip. The first stint, I raced a little harder than what I wanted to, and then it cut me a lap short on what I wanted to pit. I wanted to go one more lap, but unfortunately, I think me and Moldy both did that. But yeah, there on the second stint, it was just making sure you had enough fuel to finish the race. But all around, it was pretty fun.
Still another great finish, and now we head into Chicagoland as well, where you're going to try and creep closer up to that points lead, man. We'll see you in a week's time.
Yep, thank you.
Noah Belleville, your second win this season. Looking at the points, you now sit third, 45 points off of Jacob Prince with 5 races to go in the championship. It's not over until it's over.
No, it's not. It's going to be a tough one to get, but I'm trying.
It was a good run tonight. I mean, by all means, it was probably the most dominant performance we've seen this season. And, of course, we got to throw it out there. It was an Aiden Norman-like performance. Between you and Toby Estes, you really had what it took to win tonight. Are we going to see the same thing next week at Chicago?
Probably not like a dominant win. Chicago is a big tire saver, and so you'll see some people probably a little slow to start off because they're saving tire. I'm sure you'll see a few lead changes there, but it'll definitely be a lot closer than today.
I'm excited, man. We'll see you in a week's time. Congratulations on the win.
Yep, thank you.
Fans at home, another TNT chapter is in the books. 11 down and 5 to go. Monday night, we're going to have the ARCS Extreme Series at Slinger. And then in 7 nights' time, right here on Rick James TV, round number 12 of the Thursday Night Thunder Championship. Shout out to everybody who puts this together. Shout out to iRacing for putting all this software together and keeping us running week after week. And shout out to especially you for tuning in as well. We literally can't do this without you. So thank you for tuning in one more week. And until that next race, everybody, please stay safe. Do